Hey everybody, here I am again. I know you're probably sick of seeing my face today. It's been a very busy day. Just trying to catch up on some of the episodes that I haven't been able to get done. Hey Joe, how are you? Hope everything's well, Joe Tolliver. For those watching, Joe Tolliver also has his own YouTube channel and everything. He has some great content. Go check out Joe Tolliver's page and follow his shows on his channel. Great guy, part of the industry, very important to all of us. I was on earlier today with the Bit and Apple, so for those of you who came on to see me in the Bit and Apple, thank you very much. The interview can be seen on my thread. It's only about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, but I had a fun time. After that, I did a short review of some art books that I received from some artists, so if you can go check that out. To Comics Cast, thank you. That's why, I'm sorry, I was drawing a blank. I apologize, but it's Comics Cast. Go check that out. So today I'm finally catching up. I know the Jam Piece shows haven't been consistent, so forgive me for that. But we have Jam Piece, The Art of the Jam, Episode 5. It is my Excalibur Jam. And I'm going to go over the pencils, the inked version, and the color version. Now, I normally do art giveaways during this show, but people haven't been really seeming to know the answers, so we haven't had winners. So I'm going to stop doing the art giveaways for this, but I will be giving them away continually at my Creatorcon Q&As. So I have a lot of art to give away, a lot. So if you guys like art and you want free art, please come and watch the shows and win some art. Anyway, let's get down to what you're really here to see, which is not my face. Let's bring up my jam. So this, I know the pencils are light, but we will get into the ink and everything. This is my Excalibur Jam. This was done, I did a series of 3. I do a few at a time so I can pass them around to different artists. As you know, I get the blank layout and there's an empty shell. And what I do is if I have 3, I pass them around and have 3 artists working on them at the same time, and then I shuffle and mix them around so I can keep getting work done. Because as you know, at shows, artists sometimes take a while or they have a commission list and you're not first, etc. So starting up here in the corner, I have Jason Metcalf. He did very light pencils, but this character is Farron. Now, if you collected Excalibur, he came in probably around the 40s to 50s, and he's basically a mage or a magician. Very obscure character at this point, but kind of was had an obnoxious attitude. He was like a group of monks, and he's got magical abilities. So Jason did a nice job of having him hovering, but he also did this really cool where he draped his cape below here. It's hard to see. I'll show you in the inked version. Then we have Micromax. This is a British character. He can shrink and grow. As you can see, he's in his large form. Marat Michaels did this. By the way, Jason Metcalf does all the layouts for my jams, every single one of them. And when I can, I get him to draw a character as well. So he did Farron. Marat Michaels did a phenomenal job on Micromax. He was short-lived in the series of Excalibur, but he was probably no more than like 6 to 10 issues. But I like the character. I like the obscure characters. I met Marat 2016, I think, but this was 2017 at Phoenix. Actually, no, I met him in 2017. This was Phoenix Comic-Con, and he did this Micromax for me. He also, in the same show, at the last Jam Piece show I did, I had the Alpha Flight Jam. He drew Heather Hudson's Guardian for me. Here we have Crease. Crease is a phenomenal artist. He's local here to Long Island. If you don't know him, go follow him. They call him Little Jim Lee or something like that. Personally, I don't call him Little Jim Lee. I call him Crease because he's earned that. I think he's an excellent artist. So here's Cerise, who was the love interest of my favorite character, Nightcrawler. She was part of the Shi'ar Empire. She was actually there was issues where she was on trial. She was a renegade. She has light-based powers that can turn into hard constructs. And she doesn't really fly, but because of the layout, they put her in a flying position. But he did a great job in the feathery touch of her Shi'ar, biology. Great job tight on the eyes and the nose. Again, these are small figures. This is a 11 by 17, so it's not easy. And here is quite possibly, to me, the tightest, cleanest pencils. It's hard to see, but this is Ian Churchill, who I just had recently on my Creatorcon Q&A show, who's just an awesome person, one of my favorite artists of all time, a wonderful guy. I was so happy to meet him. I mailed this to Britain. He lives in England, and he drew Megan. Megan is a shapeshifter, and she deals with, she's an empathic fairy-like creature, humanoid. And look at the detail on the eyes he did here. I don't know if you could see and the nose, but it's so small, and he crushed it. I mean, he totally killed it. The detail is amazing. I'm so happy. Hey, Heather, how are you? Thanks for coming out. And look at the way he did the hair flowing, and just the pencils are so clean. It's incredible, in my opinion. And then you go from Ian Churchill's incredible pencils to V. Ken Marion's pencils. Look at this Captain Britain he did. V. Ken is also one of my favorite pencilers. Very tight. He has some cross-hatching going on. He did a great job of showing the anatomy and the detail in the anatomy of the body, the musculature, etc. I mean, just seeing these two pieces together is phenomenal. Then you have here Widget. Now, I wanted the Widget that was the kind of corporeal form with the helmet, which was Kitty Pryde, but I didn't make that clear, which was my mistake. So in the jam, Jason Metcalf did the Widget that puts itself together, all the metal pieces. And that's what we have here. And no better person to do robots than Livio Raimondelli. So Livio did the robot Widget here. Hey, Michael, how are you? Thank you. Appreciate it. Michael Barr, my cousin's husband, so I guess your second cousin, is a news anchor. And I wish I had his voice for my podcast. Anyway. So Widget was drawn by Livio Raimondelli, which is a IDW Transformers artist. Amazing job on robots, as always. This is characters Kylan. Kylan is actually one of my favorite characters. He's more obscure. He hasn't used much. His mutant power kind of silly, but his mutant power is he can mimic any sound whatsoever with his vocal cords. He is a lion humanoid with two swords, so kind of like the Shatterstar thing going on. I really like this character. I wish they'd bring this character back. Mike Lilly did a nice job of bringing out the more lion, animalistic version of him. Because Alan Davis drew him, and it was very soft. But obviously, I love Alan Davis's art. But Mike drew him a little edgier. I thought it was pretty cool. Nice centerpiece. Here we have Philip Steele. I met Philip at Phoenix Con. I wasn't aware of his work, but I think he's a phenomenal artist. This is Amanda Sefton. She was also a former love interest of Nightcrawler and magic user. This was the more recent costume she had. She's had many different overhauls throughout the years. Again, she's obscure. She hasn't been used in a long time. I would like to see her come back, of course. And here we have Pete Wisdom, who is British intelligence, MI13, and he was just basically in a black suit. Kind of boring, but Kenny Calderon did a great job. I met Kenny at, Five Corners? I think it's called Five Corners Show. I'm sorry, it was in Manhattan. It wasn't mostly an art show. It was mostly toys and like vintage toys and everything, overseas toys. But Kenny did a really nice job on him with his hot knives ability on his fingers. So this is the pencil version, and as you know, I get the pencil version scanned and I send that blue line over to the inker, and the inker is Scott Hanna. I'm gonna have to pull this down for a minute and do another share screen, so bear with me. I'm looking at my mug. Okay, no, I don't want that. I want, where'd it go? Here it went. There we go. Okay. So now I go over to the inked version. Scott Hanna, who we all know, I'm sure, was the first guest on my Creatorcon Q&A show, and he's a friend, and he's just a great human being. He's inked pretty much everything in the industry. So I love when an inker inks the signatures. They don't always do it, depending on if they have time or not, but I do love when they do it. So here we can see now, much darker, we have Theron from Jason Metcalf, who also does the layouts. Jason has one of the best logos and signatures, in my opinion. It's got a Frazetta kind of style to it. And this is what I was talking about, how he shows the cape draping, but his robe draping below him because he's hovering. Very nice. I like the pose because he is part of a magical monk kind of coven, which is really cool. Very nice detail on the wrinkles in the clothing and obviously the light source, the shadowing underneath. Then we have Micromax again, which is Marat Michaels. Great hatching and things like that. And look at the abdomen and just a fantastic job. And look how he adds the shadow on the bottom, which that's what inkers do. Fantastic. So the light source is from above. And you have to take into consideration the light sources from Cerise, because they're light-based power. So these are going to generate light. So obviously the light up here is going to cast shadow below. And you see how the shadow is on the body. Nice cross-hatching going on here in the abdomen. Again, for those who don't know, with inking, there are degrees of shading. Hey, Steve, what's going on? You're probably sick of seeing me by now, huh? So inkers, to show the degrees of shading, obviously use cross-hatching techniques or just straight up black if it's in total darkness, or just lines, This denotes that it's a lighter shadow as opposed to just dark shadow. And you have to consider all sources of light from other characters as well as if there's a main source here. As you can see, there's darkness on his abs because he's leaning over. Micromax has shadow on his abdomen, which makes sense. Dark shadow to lighter shadow. Okay. Then we've got Megan. Now this, like I said, Ian Churchill did such a killer job on the face. I can't imagine how tough this was to ink this because it's so small, and that's one of the reasons why I really needed to have Scott Hanna ink it, because you have to have the best to ink the best. So he did a great job. The eyes were so tight. I mean, look at that. I mean, I really wish I could get a better close-up on Ian's face because the lines was so tight. Now, looking at the leg, obviously the leg is in the background, so he did some cross-hatching on the leg to denote shadow, not darkness, but shadow. So, and that gives that three-dimensional look of how the leg is back. It is not forward. And keep in mind when they do these layouts, there's forefront, there's background and there's foreground. So you have to, they have to follow through that. Like, look at Marat with Micromax, the foot goes all the way through. And even though the pose isn't really... nobody would stand that way, but they also were talking about lion-oid humans and flying people with powers. So anyway, then we have right here, we have Widget from Livio Romandelli that Scott Hanna inked. The dark shadow on the inside of the leg because obviously light is not casting that way. And here on this arm, so he has the light source from Cerise probably going down this way. So those are things to take into consideration. And then here again, we have where it's just all out dark on his neck based on light source because his head is covering, as opposed to some cross-hatching to denote shadow. Darkness here on the inside of the arm and down on his foot down here. And again, they have to be aware of the artist going down all the way to the foot where it would peek out to give that three-dimensional appearance that they're standing behind other characters. Back to Mike Lilly with Kylan. Beautiful cross-hatching on the abdomen and the arms, and very nice fine lines on the hair that Mike did. Tightens it up really nicely. The cross-hatching on the forehead. Look at the fur on his arms. Just a fantastic job. Look at the cross-hatching and the darkness based on the light source on his leg. Really, really wonderful work. And then, of course, Philip Steele. We have some cross-hatching. This is, I guess it's like a metallic suit, so it gives that metallic appearance, which I really like. And the hair in the background and beautiful clean strokes to do the hair on Megan and Amanda Sefton and Kylan. And then finally we have Pete Wisdom, which was much more. I always think these are more tougher characters because when they're all black, you have to do the black, but you have to do the opposite and the negative space and the positive space to denote shadows and to denote the clothes, or it's just this big black blotch. So Scott did a great job of where he left it white, of course, and had the black to denote that it's a black costume, but there is light shining on it on different areas. And he did the cross-hatching again on the tie, etc., to show where it's lighter, it's shaded, but it's not fully dark. Sometimes, unfortunately, you can see the blue line come through a little bit, which you do on a couple of these characters. That is really just the way it is. It's not anybody's fault. It is what it is on Kylan, Amanda Sefton, and Pete Wisdom we do, and a little bit here on Levio's widget. So that is the inked version. And then finally, give me 1 minute, and we will do the color version. Okay, I'm getting the hang of this. Look at that. This is the colored version. Chris Sotomayor, obviously one of the best colorists in the business. He's colored everything. He's been a guest on my show and a friend. He did the colors. What I love about Chris is the backgrounds he does. I like this effect that he did on the back. It's multicolored. You have, again, I'm colorblind, so it looks like oranges or something and blues, and I don't know what color this is, so forgive me. But anyway, so we go into the color schemes. And again, colorists have to also denote the light sources and the structure of the anatomy and things like that. Otherwise, they're going to wash out the inks. So he did a fantastic job on the flesh tones here and here. Great flesh tone colors, maintaining the aspect of the wrinkles in the clothing and where the shadows would be based on the light sources and the inking. And Micromax as well. And again, he nailed the colors of their characters. Look how he was able to maintain the shine in the visor, which a lot of people, you don't realize how hard that is to make this look truly like there's a glare on the visor. So that's a great job right there. The energy light, solid light powers of Cerise that he did maintained the nice feathery touch of her Shi'ar DNA. Again, maintaining the lighter shades and the darker shades of light source, but sticking to her color palette. Megan, green and black. But again, look at the different colors. It looks like it's darker in some areas on the green, which would denote, again, shade, light source. Those are things we don't think of. The professional colorists understand that the green is going to have a different hue to it based on shadow on it or light sources being absent or being brighter on it. So great job, including the hair. And again, maintaining the detail on the eyes, very small. Being a colorblind ass, the blue and the red on this stand out to me. I really love that. Fantastic job, again, maintaining the cross-hatching on the abdomen and the darker shading. He really pops out in color for me. Widget, look how he's able to use the color to maintain that metallic look. It's a robot, so they have a metallic look. And just the way they use the cross-hatching and the gray silver tone, and then like lighter tone here to show a shine and a reflection, I think is phenomenal. And then again, maintaining the light sourcing and the shadowing. Then Kylan, he has these gold metal boots and leggings. Again, maintaining that contrast in the sense of gold to silver, but yet maintaining the metallic look of shine and reflection with shadow, just incredible. And then obviously the brown fur, maintaining the that nice line work of the focus on the fur itself and how furry he is, fantastic. A lot of different contrasts in Kylan between his outfit color, the gold metal, and then the silver metal of the swords. And then, hi kitten. And then Amanda Sefton, again, it's like a metallic suit, doing a nice display of the reflection and shine, as well as the shadowing and light. And then, again, the flesh tones are awesome. Very nice. Flesh tones are not easy to really make look soft and palatable. And then Pete Wisdom, again, flesh tones. Again, this is a dark character, has a black suit on, so look how he did the lighter black to denote where those areas were, to show it's a black uniform with different light sourcing on it. So fantastic. So this was Chris Sotomayor, and then the colorist has to make sure that the black ink on the signatures is presentable and you can read who is the artist so it's not drowned out. So again, it's Jason Metcalf did the layouts, Jason Metcalf drew Ferron, Marat Michaels did Micromax, Crease did Searice, Ian Churchill did Megan, Viken Marion did Captain Britain, Livio Raimondelli did Widget, Mike Lilly did Kylan, sorry. And Philip Steele did Amanda Sefton, and Kenny Calderon did Pete Wisdom. I really love doing these jams. I hope you guys enjoy looking at them. I inspire everyone to start this. Again, they can be expensive if you choose to go for the big names. I do both. Good art, great art is great art. The name is not important to me. The talent is. If they happen to be a great artist and the name, well, that's great. But you could find a lot of local artists, $50 a character, $60 a character, and get a beautiful jam done. But they can go up $150 a character on these jams. And then, of course, if you go to someone like Neil Adams, it's like $500 a character. So it really depends on what you want to do. If you're doing this for value purposes, things like that, or if you're doing it for hobbies. Personally, when I am gone off this earth, they will be given to my daughters to do with whatever they please. As you can see, normally they're behind me, all over my wall. Some of them, they're not all completed. Some are colored, some are not. They will be updated, and some pieces will be removed off my wall once I get all them done. And then I'm going to do a coffee table book of all of my jams, and it's going to be all versions. It's going to be all the pencils, the inked versions, and the colored versions in a nice coffee table hardcover book called Art of the Jam, and that'll be pretty cool. I'm excited to get that done. So again, it was inked by Scott Hanna, colored by Chris Sotomayor, and that is it, everybody. Thanks and appreciate you all coming out. If you are interested, you can go back on the YouTube channel, Creatorcon event, and look at all prior jams that I have shown so far, as well as my interviews of many comic book legends, up-and-coming talent. We've even had some just fun comic book chats that you could sit and watch. I encourage you to watch them live as well, because I'm very, very interactive with the chat group. I want you all to feel you're part of the conversation, as if we're talking across a table at a con. I want you guys, this is a good place where, like, I had Joe Rubenstein on yesterday, I've had Ian Churchill, I have Eric Larson on Monday. You get to talk to these people directly live. So there's an opportunity. You don't have to wait to go to a con. They're right there in your living room. You could be sitting there in your underwear. They don't see you. You can talk to them while you're shoving Cheetos in your face, whatever you want to do. So I encourage everybody to come out. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Creatorcon event. Give views to these guys. Give exposure to all the local artists like Enrique Lopez, who will be here Tuesday at 10 p.m. Also, you can go back, like I said, and look at all the content. And please be aware that I have the Suffolk Comic and Art Expo, December 6th, 10 to 6 p.m. It's a small, contained, local show that will be COVID safe. It will be safer than your Walmart. We are going to be cleaning everything constantly all day. Masks are required. Surveys must be filled out. Distancing will be maintained. And it is nowhere. It's not even a quarter of the size of my normal show, but it's just to help the artists get out there. We'll have Billy Tucci, Larry Stroman, Keith Williams, Sean Chen, Rodney Ramos, Alex Rivera, Tony Cordos, and a whole plethora of really talented local people, as well as comic books. We will have 5 or 6 solid comic books. Some are LCS that will be at the show. That's so please keep an eye out. Go to my Facebook page, Philip Russert, and you'll see posts constantly. Go to my Instagram, Phil Russert. Go to Creatorcon Event on Instagram, Creatorcon Event on Facebook. And again, the YouTube channel is Creatorcon Event. So thank you very much for coming out. I apologize for my loud daughter, but that's the way it goes when you have kids. You guys have a great day, and I do want to do some more free art giveaways, so come on out and win some art. Come to the shows. Best question to always get your free art. Some awesome, awesome art. You guys are awesome. Thanks for coming out, Joe Tolliver and Heather and Mike and Steve and everybody else. Thanks for all the shares. Please always share these shows live. Get them out there. Show people. Let's really build this community. Let's try to have positivity in our lives and forget about all the crapola that's going on, at least for a little while. All right? I love everybody. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best health and success and happiness. God bless you. Be legendary and have fun storming the castle.